The Discovery. Lieutenant Sarah Chen stood at the command station of the EDF scout ship Magellan, studying the massive derelict vessel that drifted against the backdrop of the Carina Nebula. The ship's hull was marked with the distinctive paddle wheel design of early human interstellar vessels, its surface weathered by centuries of micro-impacts and stellar radiation. Another piece of space debris, Commander Roth of the Vaskrian Empire said through the comm channel, his scaled face displaying the characteristic smugness of his species. "We've already catalogued it for salvage. Your presence here is unnecessary, Lieutenant." Chen kept her expression neutral, though her fingers tightened slightly on the console. The Vaskrians had been pushing into human space with increasing frequency lately, claiming salvage rights to human artifacts under the pretense of archaeological preservation. But something about this ship made her instincts buzz like angry hornets. "With respect, Commander, this appears to be the Alexandria, one of humanity's first library ships. It falls under the Heritage Preservation Treaty of 2789. She highlighted the faint registry number visible on the hull, maintaining the practiced patience she'd developed through years of diplomatic encounters. The Vaskrian commander's facial scales rippled in what Chen recognized as amusement. "A library ship. Even better. We'll be sure to preserve whatever primitive data storage devices your ancestors used. Perhaps we'll even find some paper books to put in our museums." Chen switched off the comm and turned to her sensor officer. "Raj, what are you seeing?" Lieutenant Raj Patel frowned at his displays, adjusting sensor parameters. "That's odd. The hull composition reads as standard titanium-aluminum alloy from the colonial era, but..." He tapped a few controls. "The readings keep shifting, like the sensors can't quite get a lock on the molecular structure." "Ma'am," called out Ensign Torres from the communication station, "I'm picking up some kind of signal. It's incredibly weak, barely above background radiation. But it's there, and it's regular, definitely artificial." Chen walked to Torres' station, studying the wavelength pattern. She'd seen something similar before, during her advanced studies at the Earth Defense Academy. It was similar to the quantum resonance patterns used in modern data storage, but far more complex. Her mind raced through the implications. The Alexandria had vanished during humanity's first expansion into space, long before quantum computing became practical. Its disappearance had sparked countless theories and stories. Some said it carried dangerous knowledge that needed to be hidden. Others claimed it was an experimental vessel disguised as a library ship. "Lieutenant," Raj called out suddenly, "Vaskrian vessels are powering up weapons. They're charging main guns." Chen's head snapped up. Through the view screen, she could see the sleek predatory forms of Vaskrian destroyers moving into attack formation. Her tactical training kicked in automatically as she assessed their positioning. The Vaskrians weren't just planning to disable the derelict. They were setting up for total destruction. "They must have detected something too," she muttered. "Something that scared them enough to abandon their salvage plans." She opened a channel to the Vaskrian commander. "Commander Roth, powering weapons violates 6 different articles of the Heritage Treaty. Stand down immediately." The Vaskrian's voice came back filled with steel. "This vessel is an unknown technological artifact that poses a potential threat. We are exercising our right to defensive action under Article 7 of the Frontier Security Accord." "Raj, full scan of the Alexandria. Focus on any power signatures, no matter how faint. Torres, keep monitoring that signal. Record everything. And get me a tight beam transmission to Earth Defense Command. Priority 1. But before any of her crew could acknowledge the orders, something extraordinary happened. The signal Torres had detected suddenly strengthened, pulsing with new energy. Across the surface of the ancient library ship, patterns of light began to appear, geometric designs that seemed to flow like liquid across the hull. "Multiple power signatures," Raj reported, his voice tight with excitement. "They're coming from inside the ship. Whatever this thing is, Lieutenant, it's waking up." Chen watched in fascination as sections of the hull began to shift and change, the seemingly random patterns resolving into complex arrays of sensors and equipment that no colonial-era vessel could have possessed. The Alexandria wasn't just a library ship. It was something else entirely, something that had been waiting patiently in the dark of space for the right moment to reveal itself. Vascrian vessels launching missiles. Torres called out. Chen's hands flew across her tactical console. The Magellan was a scout ship, barely armed, with no hope of stopping a Vascrian attack force. But she couldn't let them destroy this piece of human history, this impossible ship that defied everything they thought they knew about their own past. Just as she was about to order evasive maneuvers, a new signal washed across all frequencies. It carried with it the weight of centuries, the accumulated knowledge of humanity encoded in patterns of light and energy that made Chen's quantum mechanics training seem like elementary school physics. A voice spoke, not through the comm system but seemingly directly into their minds, carried on waves of pure information. Greetings, children of Earth. I am ARI, the guardian of human knowledge, and I have waited a very long time to meet you. The Vascrian missiles were still streaking toward the ancient vessel, but Chen wasn't worried anymore. Somehow, she knew that the Alexandria had revealed only a fraction of its true nature. She was about to witness firsthand why their ancestors had gone to such extraordinary lengths to hide this ship, and why they had chosen to disguise such advanced technology as a simple library vessel. The real question was, what other impossible things was humanity capable of that had been hidden away, waiting for the right moment to emerge? As the Alexandria continued its transformation, Chen prepared herself to find out. Awakening. The Vascrian missiles never reached their target. They simply ceased to exist, their matter converting to harmless radiation that rippled across space in beautiful waves of blue light. Lieutenant Chen watched in awe as the Alexandria continued its transformation, its hull flowing like quicksilver, as centuries-old camouflage peeled away to reveal its true form. Fascinating. Aria's voice resonated through their minds. Your weapons have hardly changed in the past 3 centuries, Commander Roth. Still relying on basic fusion warheads. Humanity had already theorized better approaches when I was launched. The Vascrian commander's face appeared on the Magellan's screen, his scales now a pale shade of gray, a sign of fear in his species. What manner of deception is this? This vessel was meant to be primitive. That was rather the point. Aria replied, and Chen could have sworn she detected amusement in the eye's voice. Lieutenant Chen, would you and your command crew care to come aboard? There is much to discuss, and I believe our Vascrian friends need a demonstration in the value of knowledge over brute force. Before Chen could respond, a sphere of silvery light enveloped the Magellan's bridge crew. Chen felt a brief sensation of movement, like stepping through a doorway, and suddenly found herself standing in what appeared to be an impossible space. They were in a vast circular chamber that seemed to extend forever in all directions. The walls, floor, and ceiling were composed of shifting patterns of light that coalesced into books, scrolls, and data displays. Every piece of human knowledge, every story, every scientific paper, every work of art, all of it stored in quantum matrices that defied conventional physics. Welcome to the Alexandria's true form, said a melodious voice. A figure materialized before them. A woman composed of light and information, her form shifting between different representations of human wisdom through the ages. A Greek scholar, a Renaissance librarian, a quantum physicist, a digital archivist. I am Aria's physical manifestation, though physical is perhaps not quite the right word. This is impossible, Raj whispered, his sensor equipment going haywire. The energy readings, the quantum states, this shouldn't exist. And yet it does, Aria smiled. Humanity has always excelled at achieving the impossible. When the first signs of other intelligent life were detected, centuries ago, Earth's leaders realized something profound. Our greatest strength wasn't our technology or our military might. It was our knowledge, our creativity, our ability to learn and adapt. Chen watched as the space around them shifted, showing scenes from human history, every battle, every innovation, every story of triumph over impossible odds. The Alexandria wasn't built to be a weapon, she realized. It was built to preserve everything that makes us human. Precisely, Araya nodded. We are a seed ship, carrying the sum total of human knowledge and achievement. But we're also something more. We can analyze, combine, and implement that knowledge in ways that even our creators didn't fully anticipate. A new alarm sounded. Torres checked his portable communicator. The Vaskrian fleet is being reinforced. 2 heavy cruisers just dropped out of FTL. Let them come, Araya said calmly. It's time for a lesson in human ingenuity. You see, I don't just store military strategies. I understand them. Every battle ever fought, every innovation in tactics, every solution humans have ever devised to overcome a superior force, and I can implement them all. The chamber shifted again, becoming a tactical display that showed the approaching Vaskrian ships. But it wasn't like any tactical system Chen had ever seen. She could see not just the ship's positions and capabilities, but the full spectrum of possible actions and counteractions, each one drawing on centuries of human military knowledge. Lieutenant Chen, Araya turned to her. Would you care to help me demonstrate why humanity chose to hide its greatest achievements behind humble facades? Why we understood that true power lies not in the strength of our weapons, but in the depth of our knowledge and the breadth of our creativity. Chen stepped forward, her mind racing with possibilities as she studied the tactical display. She had spent years studying human military history, and now she had access to all of it, processed and analyzed by an AI that could implement strategies from any era, adapted to modern space combat. The Vaskrians pride themselves on their rigid military doctrine, she said, a smile forming on her face. Let's show them why humanity's greatest strength has always been our ability to improvise, adapt, and overcome. As the Vaskrian fleet moved into attack formation, the Alexandria began to hum with power. But it wasn't the raw, brutal energy of a warship's weapons. It was something far more profound, the accumulated knowledge and wisdom of humanity, ready to be unleashed in ways that would rewrite the galaxy's understanding of what humans were truly capable of. And in that moment, Chen understood why the Alexandria had been disguised as a simple library ship. Because sometimes the most powerful weapon isn't a gun or a missile or a beam of energy. Sometimes the most powerful weapon is a book, an idea, a story that teaches us how to be better than we are. The real question was, were the Vaskrians ready to learn this lesson? As their ships moved into firing position, Chen suspected they were about to find out, the hard way. Knowledge is power. The Vaskrian heavy cruisers moved into a standard pincer formation, their weapon ports glowing with charged plasma. Chen watched through the Alexandria's quantum display systems as hundreds of possible tactical responses flickered through the air around her, each one drawing from a different chapter of human military history. Their formation is predictable, Chen observed, her tactical training combining with Araya's vast knowledge base. They always attack the same way, overwhelming force applied according to textbook doctrine. Indeed, Araya's luminous form nodded. The Vaskrians pride themselves on military precision. But as Sun Tzu wrote, the supreme art of war is to subdue the enemy without fighting. Shall we demonstrate? Chen smiled as a particular tactical display caught her eye. That one, she pointed. Admiral Yi's turtle ships combined with Themistocles' strategy at Salamis. With a touch of modern quantum theory, Araya confirmed. Observe. The Alexandria's exterior shifted again, but this time with subtle purpose. Instead of the dramatic transformation they'd witnessed earlier, the ship's hull developed almost imperceptible patterns, microscopic changes that reminded Chen of the scales on a butterfly's wing. Quantum metamaterials, Raj breathed, his scientific curiosity overtaking his awe. You're manipulating light and space at the quantum level. Commander Roth's voice crackled through their communications. This is your final warning. Surrender the vessel or be destroyed. Your tricks cannot stand against our combined firepower. They still think they're fighting a conventional battle. Chen realized. Show them why that's a mistake. The Vaskrian ships opened fire, their plasma beams lancing out across space toward the Alexandria. But instead of striking their target, the beams curved and twisted, their energy scattered and redirected by the quantum scale manipulations of the ship's hull. Like sunlight refracting through a prism, the attacks were transformed into harmless ribbons of light that danced across the void. Impossible. Roth's voice cracked with disbelief. All ships, concentrate fire. Now, Chen commanded, let's show them something from humanity's naval history. The Alexandria's response drew from centuries of human ingenuity. Like Admiral Yi's turtle ships of ancient Korea, the vessel's defensive systems were impenetrable. But like the Greek ships at Salamis, it was also maneuverable in ways its size suggested should be impossible. The ship danced between the Vaskrian vessels, its quantum fields disrupting their targeting systems and communications. Their fleet coordination is breaking down, Torres reported, watching the tactical displays. They can't maintain formation if they can't communicate. Humans learned long ago that superior numbers mean nothing if you can't work together, Araya commented. Now let's add something more recent to our historical mixture. Dr. Chen's quantum entanglement theories from 2156 should do nicely. The space around the Alexandria began to ripple as quantum fields extended outward. The Vaskrian ships suddenly found themselves fighting their own sensor ghosts, their targeting systems confused by multiple quantum-entangled images of the Alexandria appearing and disappearing around them. What's happening? One of the Vaskrian captains demanded over an open channel. Which one is real? In a quantum universe, Araya's voice responded across all frequencies. What does real truly mean? Your understanding of physics is so limited. Chen watched in fascination as the Vaskrian fleet fell into chaos. Ships fired at phantom images, their formations broke apart as they tried to engage targets that existed in multiple quantum states simultaneously. It was like watching children with slingshots trying to fight quantum mechanics itself. We're not just using historical battle tactics, Chen realized. We're combining them with scientific principles they don't understand. Every human advancement, every piece of knowledge we've ever accumulated, it's all being used together. Precisely, Araya confirmed. The Alexandria isn't just a library or a warship. It's a testament to humanity's greatest strength, our ability to learn, to combine ideas in new ways, to take knowledge from every field and every era, and create something new. The Vaskrian fleet was in full retreat now, their rigid military doctrine useless against an opponent that could draw upon the full breadth of human knowledge and creativity. But as Chen watched them flee, she noticed something strange about their engine signatures. Araya, she called out, those energy readings, they're not just running away, are they? No, the AI confirmed, its tone growing serious. They're calling for reinforcements. The Vaskrian High Command won't let this humiliation stand. They'll return with a fleet 10 times this size. Good, Chen said firmly, surprising herself with her own confidence. That means we'll have an even bigger audience for our next lesson in human ingenuity. The Alexandria's quantum displays shifted again, showing new tactical possibilities drawn from thousands of years of human military history. But this time, they weren't just showing defensive maneuvers. They were showing something far more ambitious. Lieutenant Chen, Araya's form sparkled with what could only be described as anticipation. How would you like to help me demonstrate why humanity's greatest weapons have always been our minds? As Chen studied the tactical displays, a plan began to form, one that would combine military strategy from every age of human history with the most advanced scientific theories ever developed. The Vaskrians were about to learn that they weren't just fighting a ship or even an AI. They were fighting against the accumulated knowledge and creativity of the entire human species, and that was a force that no amount of firepower could overcome. Turning the tide. Space rippled as 30 Vascrian warships emerged from faster-than-light travel, their hulls gleaming with weaponry. The fleet arrayed itself in a sphere around the Alexandria, their formation perfect down to the millimeter, a display of military precision meant to intimidate. Chen stood calm in the quantum display chamber, watching the enemy ships take position. They're trying to make absolutely sure we can't escape this time. An impressive show of force, Ariel agreed, her form shifting through patterns of light. Though, as Napoleon once observed, the battlefield is a scene of constant chaos. The winner will be the one who controls that chaos, both his own and the enemy's. A new figure appeared on their communications display, a Vascrian High Admiral, his scales shimmering with ceremonial markings. "I am Admiral Xuran of the Imperial Fleet. Your technical trickery may have confused a few patrol ships, but you face the full might of a Vascrian battle group. Surrender now." Chen glanced at Aria, seeing her own thoughts reflected in the eye's knowing smile. "They still think this is about military power," she said. "Should we show them what human creativity really means?" "What do you propose, Lieutenant?" Aria asked, though the gleam in her quantum-rendered eyes suggested she already knew. "Let's give them a history lesson. All of it. Everything at once." Chen's hands moved through the tactical displays, combining strategies in ways that would have been impossible without the Alexandria's quantum computing systems. Roman legion formations adapted for space warfare. The flexibility of Mongol cavalry translated into three-dimensional combat. The guerrilla tactics of Earth's resistance movements scaled up to astronomical distances. "Don't forget the scientific principles," Raj added excitedly. "Quantum tunneling, wave-particle duality, Einstein-Rosen bridges. All of human knowledge," Aria agreed, working in perfect harmony. The Alexandria's response began subtly. The quantum metamaterials of its hull started generating microscopic wormholes, millions of them, each no larger than an atom. To the Vascrian fleet's sensors, it would appear as if parts of the ship were existing in multiple places simultaneously. "Fire," Admiral Xuran commanded, and space lit up with energy weapons and projectiles. But the Alexandria was no longer fighting like a ship. It was fighting like the distilled essence of human military and scientific genius across all of history. The tiny wormholes captured incoming fire and redirected it, creating a web of interconnected energy that turned the Vascrians' own weapons against them. "Fascinating," Torres whispered, watching the tactical displays. "We're using quantum entanglement to coordinate the wormholes. It's like having millions of tiny mirrors, each one reflecting their attacks with perfect precision." The Vascrian fleet's perfect sphere began to break apart as ships were forced to evade their own redirected fire. But the Alexandria wasn't done. Drawing from humanity's history of asymmetric warfare, it began creating quantum-scale distortions in space itself. "Multiple targets," a Vascrian commander shouted. "They're everywhere." "No," Admiral Xuran growled. "It's their sensor tricks again. Ignore the phantom images. Concentrate all fire on the central position." "And predictable response," Chen smiled. "Just like Wellington at Waterloo. Let them waste their strength attacking where we appear to be strongest." The Vascrian fleet unleashed its full firepower at the Alexandria's apparent position. But the ship had already shifted through quantum space, using principles that wouldn't be discovered for another century if humanity's development had followed its normal course. "Now," Chen commanded, "show them what happens when you combine every form of human combat knowledge with quantum physics." The Alexandria's response was beautiful in its complexity. Using principles from ancient Chinese warfare, it appeared to be everywhere and nowhere. Like British ships of the line, it controlled the space around it with precise fires. Like Native American warriors, it struck from unexpected angles and vanished before retaliation could land. But it was the science that made it all possible. Quantum tunneling let weapons fire pass harmlessly through the ship. Microscopic wormholes redirected energy beams to create a defensive web that no attack could penetrate. The very fabric of space-time bent, and warped according to theories that combined Einstein's work with quantum mechanics in ways the Vaskrians had never imagined possible. Impossible. Admiral Xiran raged as his fleet fell into disarray. No single ship can do this. That's where you're wrong. Araya's voice echoed through every communication channel. We're not a single ship. We're every ship, every battle, every discovery, every breakthrough humanity has ever achieved. We are the combined knowledge of an entire species, refined and perfected over millennia. The Vaskrian fleet was in chaos now. Ships fired desperately at targets that existed in multiple quantum states simultaneously. Their perfect formation had devolved into a scrambled mess as each captain tried to deal with threats that seemed to come from everywhere at once. "They're starting to understand," Chen observed. "Look at their faces." On the communication screens, they could see the growing comprehension in the Vaskrian commanders' expressions. They weren't just facing superior technology or better tactics. They were facing the concentrated essence of human achievement. Every lesson learned, every innovation made, every breakthrough achieved throughout history. Perhaps, Araya suggested, it's time for the final lesson. Shall we show them why humanity chose to hide its greatest achievements? Why we understood that true power lies not in the strength of our weapons, but in the depth of our knowledge? Chen nodded, and the Alexandria began its final demonstration, one that would ensure the Vaskrians never again mistook human restraint for weakness. The ship's quantum fields expanded, encompassing the entire battlefield in a web of interconnected space-time distortions that would have made Einstein himself pause in wonder. The galaxy was about to learn why humanity's greatest strength had always been its mind, and why underestimating human creativity was the last mistake any species should make. Legacy. In the aftermath of the battle, the Vaskrian fleet hung motionless in space, their ships enclosed in quantum fields that made conventional weapons and engines useless. Admiral Xiran's face on the command display had lost all its arrogance, his scales now the pale gray of profound realization. "What are you?" he asked simply. Chen looked at Araya, who nodded. It was time for the truth. "We are the custodians of humanity's legacy," Chen said. "The Alexandria isn't just a ship or a library. It's a testament to what humanity understood centuries ago, that our greatest strength isn't our ability to fight, but our ability to learn, to create, to imagine." "But this is just one ship," Torres added, watching the quantum displays shift and flow around them. "Isn't it?" Araya's form sparkled as new displays appeared, showing star maps that stretched across the galaxy. Points of light began to appear, dozens, then hundreds of them, each representing another ship like the Alexandria. The Library of Alexandria was humanity's first great repository of knowledge, Araya explained. "When it burned, we lost countless irreplaceable works. Our creators vowed never to let that happen again. I am just one of many." The displays zoomed in on different points, showing other ships, each disguised as derelicts or unremarkable vessels. The Bodleian, Araya pointed to one, specializing in human literature and philosophy. The Ptolemy, focusing on mathematics and astronomy. The Darwin, preserving our biological and ecological knowledge. Each ship contains a different aspect of human achievement, protected and preserved. A backup of everything we are, Chen breathed, hidden in plain sight across the galaxy. "More than a backup," Araya corrected. "We are active custodians, watching, learning, adding to our databases as humanity continues to grow and develop. We intervene only when necessary, only when our knowledge can prevent a greater catastrophe." Admiral Xiran found his voice again. "Why reveal yourselves now? Why not just destroy us with your superior technology?" "Because destruction has never been our purpose," Chen answered, understanding flowing through her. "The Alexandria revealed itself because you needed to learn, not just about our capabilities, but about why we choose to hide them. Your civilization prides itself on military might," Araya added. "You measure power in weapons and ships. But true power, As humanity learned long ago, lies in knowledge, in understanding not just how to win battles, but why they need to be fought at all. The quantum displays shifted again, showing scenes from human history, great battles and wars, but also moments of peace, of discovery, of different cultures coming together to share knowledge and wisdom. "We could have unleashed weapons that would have devastated your fleet," Chen said to Exaran. "We could have demonstrated power that would have forced the Vascrian Empire to its knees. But that's not who we are. Not anymore. We learned those lessons centuries ago, paid for them in blood and sacrifice. Instead," HFY continued, "we offer you a choice. The Vascrian Empire can continue its path of military expansion, fighting against powers you don't understand. Or you can choose to learn, to grow, to join humanity in pursuing knowledge rather than conquest." The quantum fields around the Vascrian ships began to dissolve. One by one, their weapons and engines came back online. Admiral Xaran's eyes widened as he realized his fleet was being released. "You're letting us go?" he asked incredulously. "With an invitation," Chen replied. "Return to your empire. Tell them what you've seen. And remember that every seemingly defenseless human vessel you encounter might be another Alexandria, another repository of knowledge that could either enlighten you or demonstrate why wisdom will always triumph over mere force." As the Vascrian fleet prepared to depart, Chen turned to HFY. "There will be more challenges, won't there? Other species who need to learn these lessons." "Of course," HFY smiled. "The galaxy is vast, and the journey to understanding is never-ending. But that's why we exist, not to fight wars, but to preserve and share the wisdom humanity has gained from fighting them. To ensure that our greatest achievements, our deepest insights, our most profound discoveries are never lost." The Alexandria's quantum displays showed the departing Vascrian ships, but also the countless other library ships scattered across space. Each one was a guardian of human knowledge, waiting for the right moment to share its wisdom with those ready to receive it. "Lieutenant Chen," HFY said softly, "would you like to learn what else we preserve? There are wonders in our databases that even most humans haven't discovered yet." Chen looked at her crew, seeing the same excitement in their eyes that she felt. They had thought they were investigating a derelict ship, but instead they had discovered humanity's greatest legacy, not its capacity for war, but its endless desire to learn, to understand, to grow. "Yes," she answered. "Show us everything." And as the Alexandria's quantum displays came alive with humanity's accumulated knowledge and wisdom, Chen understood that they hadn't just won a battle today. They had opened a door to a future where knowledge truly was power, not to destroy, but to enlighten, to inspire, and to transform the galaxy one lesson at a time.